Wow. People actually tuned in to watch. If you can hear my voice, let me know in the chat room. I have to say, I am shocked that there is anyone home. When I said I would do the Jessica Jones stream tonight, it slipped my mind that there would be midnight shows of Star Wars happening at this time. Of course, at that time when I said that, I didn't realize that I would be able to go see Star Wars on its opening day, or opening night, midnight shows, whatever. Because oftentimes I have to work on weekends or weekdays, and I have very little notice because the guy I work for is an idiot. But turns out I can, and I went to get my ticket, and I wanted to get one for the midnight shows, but when I said opening night, the guy at the counter assumed I meant Friday night instead of Thursday night, and that's why I'm home, doing a live stream about Jessica Jones instead of watching The Force Awakens. Okay. And anyhow, but we could still have some fun here. The hell are my notes? I got like 5 different windows open here. There it is. Alright, you guys can hear me okay? I'm going to assume you can hear me okay. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Is it playing? Alright, that should be playing alright. Alright, you know what? Let's just get going. Because maybe too late to get to midnight show for Star Wars, but I can watch Conan O'Brien's episode, a special Star Wars themed episode, which is at 11:35, I believe, 11:30, something like that. All right, so let's get started. The fall TV season has concluded, which means I don't have any weekly shows to review right now, but also that I have some free time with which to talk about something else. So for the 4 people in the world, 4 other people in the world who aren't getting in line for Star Wars right now and care more about what I think of a Netflix show, let's talk about Jessica Jones. For the record, I will be getting in line for Star Wars tomorrow night. I would be at the theater tonight, but yeah, stuff happened. So, anyway, I'm just going to give my general thoughts on the series here. And there will be spoilers. So if you haven't finished Jessica Jones yet, this is your spoiler warning. There will be spoilers in this review. It's been out for a couple of weeks. I'm going to assume that everyone watching this has seen the entire season. However, if I see one goddamn spoiler for The Force Awakens in the chat room tonight, no matter how small, I may just cut off the stream right then and there. Just so you know. I've been able to stay like 95% spoiler-free for that movie, and I intend to stay that way until tomorrow. Anyway, Jessica Jones. So many people have been raving about this show, saying it's amazing, groundbreaking, it's the best thing Marvel Studios has ever done, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I'd go that far. Personally, I think this show is a little overhyped, actually. I didn't find it to be treading on any new ground, really. It was treading on rarely walked upon ground, sure, but it's not like it's the first show to ever go to places like these. And shows like Buffy and Alias, for example, were doing that years ago. I think a lot of that excitement, came from the fact that this was such a different project from anything Marvel had done before, even different from Daredevil, really. And if you're going to try something so outside the box, you really need to nail it, lest you really have egg on your face. Well, I'll give them this. They nailed it. Jessica Jones is a very good show. It's not the greatest show of all time. It's not making any revolutionary feminist statements that have never been made before on television. It's not my favorite thing Marvel's ever done, but it's really good. I think it does a much better job with the commentary about women than Agent Carter does, for example. To me, Jessica Jones is doing what Agent Carter thinks it's doing in that regard. First thing that comes to mind is the acting. Kristen Ritter is terrific. I went in a little bit skeptical of her. Didn't really see her as Jessica Jones. Didn't even start to warm up to her in that role until like the final trailer came out. So I went in not feeling sure what to think about her, but she totally proved me wrong. Completely nailed it. I think she gives a very raw, emotionally naked performance here. It's really, really great stuff. The whole cast is strong too. David Tennant is awesome as Kilgrave. It's definitely a different interpretation of that character, but he's just as vile as he is in the comics. And Tennant looks like he was really relishing that. The one thing I was kind of wondering about, though, is that this might be a Loki situation where the character does really despicable things, but the actor is so popular and so charismatic and so charming that people just refuse to hate it, to hate him. That's why I gotta just shake my head when I see people online like shipping Kilgrave and Jessica together. That's horrible. We're gonna ship this emotionally damaged woman with her rapist. That's disgusting. No, he's a bad guy, a very, very bad guy. Like, it's a credit to David Tennant that he was able to convince so many people that he wasn't a bad guy. But no, he's a villain. If there's one person I wasn't crazy about in the cast, it was probably Carrie-Anne Moss. But that's mostly because I wasn't really feeling the whole divorce subplot. I kept wondering why we were spending so much time on that, and it really didn't even tie into the narrative until the end of the season. Aside from that, though, I really have no complaints about the cast at all. The characters are great, and they're all pretty well fleshed out. I love the friendship with Jessica and Trish. How it's real, and it's complicated, and it's fucked up. And, they didn't even like each other at first, but then things happen, and they're always there for each other and backing each other up, and not just to talk. They're not just there to talk about the dudes that they're dating all the time, and this is the kind of female friendship that you don't really see that much on TV very often. It's pretty refreshing, actually. It's one of my favorite things about the show. Luke Cage is good. Kilgrave is great. I could have used a little more development with him, but I think they did just enough to show you how he turned out the way he did and why. I was really hoping for an episode where Daredevil would show up, but I guess they're saving that stuff for the Defenders. Luke Cage isn't developed a whole lot, which is understandable, and they're saving that for his own series. So they kind of just scratched the surface with him. I wasn't sure what to think about his portrayal. In my mind, Luke Cage was always a little bit more street. I can understand why they did him this way. Not a whole lot else to say about Luke Cage. I was never super into the character in the first place, though. I mean, I liked him in Bendis' New Avengers. That's about it. So I was never terribly attached to him. So I see Luke Cage, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's good. I don't really have much to compare it to. I never really read the Luke Cage comics. But they got Claire Temple in there. I popped for that. I was lamenting that Daredevil wasn't there, but Claire was cool. As I understand it, she's going to be in Luke Cage as well, so it looks like Claire is going to be like the Agent Coulson for the Defenders. That character that's kind of the connective tissue between all the different shows, and will probably end up bringing them all together in some way, which makes me a little nervous for Claire. Oh, please don't kill her off. But that's for another time. The story is where most of my complaints are. As much as the writing works really well as a character study, and you could make a great case for it being the best character study we've seen in any Marvel project so far, the story has a couple problems. For one, the pacing is very, very slow. When I was binge-watching Daredevil, I could not wait to start the next episode every single time the credits rolled. I finished one episode, I was like, oh my god, that was amazing, I have to watch the next one now. With Jessica Jones, I had to watch it in blocks. I watched, 2 episodes here, 2 episodes there, because, they felt like they took a long time to get through. In fact, I honestly think it could have done with a few less episodes. That might have improved the pacing significantly. I mean, don't really change anything about the story, just compact it into a tighter time frame. Because I think they could have done it. Honestly. There was a lot of padding there. Well, maybe that's not the best choice of words, but I mean, they could have compressed it and done it all in a shorter span of time. I think easily. I mean, there were a bunch of times when I was watching it and feeling a little bit frustrated that the pacing was so slow and nothing was really happening and it was taking a long time to go anywhere. And then I'd get to the end and there'd be this really cool cliffhanger and I'd be like, oh my god, shit about to hit the fan. And then I'd start the next episode and it would be right back to the slow pacing with a lot of walking around and talking and just really drawing things out. And not that stuff is bad, but there were points when I just really wanted them to kick things into second gear, and that doesn't really happen until the last 2 episodes. And those 2 episodes were more like what I was hoping the entire series would be like, but we had to wait the entire season to get to that. And if there had been more stuff like that incorporated into the rest of the season, I think I would have gotten more of a kick out of this. A little more action would have helped a lot too, I think. I know Jessica Jones is not really an action show, and even the Alias comics didn't have that much action, really, but this is a different medium. This is TV. It's a Marvel show. You expect there to be some action. It's just a little strange that they follow up the masterwork of action storytelling that was Daredevil with a lot of slow-paced walking around and talking and introspection and stuff like that. I mean, even the action we get is not really done all that well, actually. I mean, sure, Jessica is not a trained fighter like Daredevil is, but that doesn't mean it can't be filmed in an exciting way. And in those moments when we do, I mean, with the exception of the season finale and the fight with, like, Trish and Simpson, I found the action to be kind of underwhelming. Okay, it's just, these aren't fighters in the traditional sense, and they're really just brawlers, but you can do stuff with that. I mean, you've got 2 characters with super strength here. There are things you can do with that. And that's another problem, actually. The inconsistencies with the powers. And not just Jessica's. I mean, everyone's really. Luke Cage is inconsistent. Kilgrave's powers are inconsistent. I mean, there are moments when Jessica seems very strong. Well, enough to lift a moving car, for crying out loud. And then there's a scene where she gets overpowered by a couple guys with cattle prods. There's a scene where she gets knocked unconscious for hours by a 90-pound girl with a block of wood. How the hell did that happen? That 2x4 should have broken over her head without her even feeling it. Does she have super strength or not? I mean, that to me was a big low point for the series right there. I was like, what? How did that hurt her at all? There's also Luke Cage, who does have the unbreakable skin, which works as far as protecting him from knives and stuff. Really fun introduction to his powers. In that bar brawl where the guy goes to knife him in the neck, and he just rolls his eyes like, really? This again? He just grabs the guy and throws him away. That was funny. But towards the end, he gets shot with a shotgun, which is enough to almost kill him. Knock him unconscious, give him seizures and hemorrhages, and I mean, just a little bit earlier, he was lit on fire. He was immolated. He was in this big explosion, and he didn't even feel it. And now, a shotgun blast takes him down and almost kills him? Why? It's like sometimes they're super strong, but other times they're arbitrarily weak for no apparent reason, depending on the needs of the story. This applies to Kilgrave, too. And this was a big one. They lock him in that hermetically sealed room and talk to him over an intercom so his powers won't work on them. But then you have the scene in the hospital where he's talking over the intercom and somehow his powers work on every person in the building. Stuff like that, it's just certain things apply in one scene, but they don't apply in another scene. Details like that bug me. They do that on The Flash all the time. Also, there's this weird subplot towards the end with Trish's boyfriend being a part of some kind of super soldier program, I think. This whole storyline felt very out of place to me. It pops up from out of nowhere without any real foreshadowing. It doesn't really mesh with everything else that's going on. It kind of feels like it doesn't like it belongs in a different show. Like they're dealing with the Kilgrave situation, and then suddenly they take this weird detour to something completely unrelated. It's not even wrapped up. They leave it pretty open ended. Maybe that's something they deal with in season 2. Maybe they're setting up for the Defenders. I don't know, but that subplot felt awkward to me. However, it does lead to one of the best scenes in the show, at least for me, when Trish has to take the super soldier pill to stop Simpson, and it almost kills her when she's flatlining in the ambulance and you don't know if she's going to make it. Really powerful. I genuinely thought she might die there. I was able to suspend my disbelief, because normally when a cast regular is in trouble, you think nothing. They're going to be fine. They're a cast regular. They won't die. Here, I was not sure. I thought, oh my god, are they going to kill Trish? Are they actually going to do it here? Great scene. That was one of those real heart in your throat type moments. And there are a bunch of scenes like that in the show, actually. Like when Kilgrave orders all the people from the support group to hang themselves, and she sees what's that other girl? I forgot her name, but she's bleeding out of her throat, and she's like, "Oh my god, who do I save? Who do I save?" And she saves the people hanging themselves, but the other girl dies, and it's like, it's like I love it. There's no easy way out. That's great. It's like, how the hell do we resolve this? Great stuff there. Or we're at the police station where he's got all the cops pointing guns at each other. It's really chilling, actually. Like, how the hell do you fight someone like that? I don't know. And in hindsight, Jessica becoming immune to his powers does feel like a little bit of a cop-out. Like they kind of took the easy way out there, but it's never really explained either. I guess the implication is that Jessica was so horrified by what he made her do when she was under his control that it gave her like the final push she needed to break free of his control or something, but it's not. They don't really shine much of a light on that. I was hoping for more of an explanation, but overall, I think Jessica Jones is a terrific show. Despite the pacing issues and certain things I had to tilt my head at from time to time, I think they did something really cool here. There's some great character work. I'd say almost on par with the Alias comics. They don't shy away from anything. I mean, they really go for it at times. This is some pretty dark stuff. Arguably darker than Daredevil was. And as you know, Daredevil got pretty fucking dark. And in that capacity, it's going to a place where the MCU hasn't gone yet. This is uncharted territory for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I think exploring stories like that is what makes the Netflix platform so great, because they can how do I say this? Marvel kind of wants all the movies, and I guess to an extent the shows too, to be kind of tonally consistent, which I've talked about before. But the Netflix, they can deviate from that, and they can go to other places and darker places and tell different kinds of stories. No, I don't want to enter my iCloud password. Fuck you, go away. And that's what's so great about this new Netflix endeavor with Marvel. Like I said before, it's not doing something that's never been done before, ever. I do think the show is overhyped a little bit, with critics creaming themselves, calling it one of the best shows ever that's blazing new trails for female characters in television. It's not. Okay, people got a little ahead of themselves with all that. Everything done here has been done before, but that doesn't mean that Jessica Jones doesn't do it very well. It's not my favorite Marvel thing ever. On the Netflix platform, I still prefer Daredevil, but this is still a really impressive piece of work that everyone involved should be really proud of. Maybe for me it comes down to just personal preference and just liking, just preferring Daredevil for personal reasons. So I still rate Daredevil above this one. But in its own way, I mean, Jessica Jones is just as good. In other ways, it's better. Like I said, this is like probably the best character introspection type of storytelling that we've gotten from Marvel so far. Not that Daredevil was bad at that stuff, but that was not its main focus. This is the show. This is Jessica Jones's main focus, and it does a great job with that stuff. So yeah, Jessica Jones gets a big thumbs up. My problems with it may not be your problems. Like I said, it comes down to personal preference. I had a couple issues with the show, but overall, it's a really great show. And those are my thoughts on Jessica Jones. And we have a couple people watching now. Awesome. Okay. Sound off in the chat room right now. Direwolf87. Unrelated topic, but I just tweeted you the link to the full episode of Impact from yesterday that's on their YouTube channel. Okay, well, thank you. I saw it last night, but, yeah, I wasn't going to do the live stream that night because the show didn't end until 1 a.m. I'll probably do that on the weekend. Maybe Saturday or Sunday when I have some free time. Because I got all my notes ready. It just, no one was going to watch it at 1 a.m. Let's see. But thank you, though. That saved me one. I will see Star Wars this weekend. I don't want anything to do with the opening crowds. Oh, really? Oh, dude, the opening crowds are the best thing about those shows. I love going to those the midnight release shows where, like, with all the cosplayers and crazy fans and people standing in line and stuff. Like, I love all the pandemonium. That's what makes it so special. I love that atmosphere. NJ, Star Wars takes place in space. Dude, spoilers. Come on. That saved me one. They handled feminism well on the show. They showed basically all the women were stronger than their male counterparts, but never once beat you over the head with it like, say, Supergirl does. Yeah, I appreciated that. Supergirl is also one of those banging the drum of feminism type shows, and it tries to kind of punch you in the face about how girl power it is, and a truly feminist show doesn't have to do that. They don't have to tell you that they're about like strong female characters. They can just show them and have them doing what they do and being strong, and they don't have to tell you they are, because that's just the way it is. Which I talked about before. Shows like Shield and Arrow do I guess The Flash too, sort of. Maybe not to such an extent, but yeah, mainly Shield and Arrow, and hell, Daredevil too. I mean, they have strong female characters. They can arguably they can certainly take a feminist stance. True feminism is not about women being superior to men. It's about men and women being equal. And they don't have to, well, you said it, they don't have to punch you in the face with it. They can just do it. This show just does it, whereas Supergirl feels the need to, scream from the rooftops about how girls are just as good as men. Girls can be better than men. Woohoo! Look at us. Really bugs me about Supergirl. Direwolf87. It might be the Whovians that not accept Tennant as the bad guy. Tennant can play the bad guy just as well as he did the Doctor. Oh yeah, of course he can. My first exposure to David Tennant was in the Harry Potter movie, Goblet of Fire. That was before the Doctor, actually. But yeah, he can play a bad guy, no problem. Does a great job of it. It's not that I think it's not that they don't accept him as the bad guy; they just refuse to dislike him. It's kind of it's kind of a Stand with Ward situation on S.H.I.E.L.D. where there's so many fangirls that just don't want to, just refuse to think that Ward is the bad guy. Like, oh no, he's redeemable. He's really a good guy deep down. You know, they're going to redeem him. They're going to give him a redemption arc because he's really a good guy. You know, he hasn't done anything irredeemable. He's still a good guy. You'll see. No, he's a bad guy. I know you think Brett Dalton is hot, but the character is a bad man. Same thing with Kilgrave. I know we all love David Tennant. Sure, he was charming as Dr. 10. I think it was Dr. 10. But Kilgrave is a bad person. He's a monster. You know, it's okay to like the actor, but you take the character for what it is. That saved me one. I agree about the power levels when it comes to getting hit by a truck and only being out like 20 minutes, but then getting hit on the head with a table leg and then being out for hours. Oh, dude, that... I didn't know what the hell to do with that, man. It's just... I guess it just came down to dramatic convenience. They had to take Jessica off the board for a little bit, and they couldn't think of a good way to do it. But how does that make sense? That, for me, was the low point of the season. I mean, Jessica had taken worse beatings than that. It's just a block of wood. You could break it over her, and she'll be fine. How does that even take her down? I don't get it. Maybe because her strength comes in like spurts or something. Maybe it's not a constant thing. I don't know. I wish they'd explain that better. I mean, if there's some kind of inconsistency with her powers in canon, then please tell us what it is. Let's see. The Save Me one. I think they explained Jessica's strength by a full force hit can kill, so she holds back at different levels, given the situation she's in at the time. Alright, well, she holds back. That would explain why she doesn't kill someone when she punches them. It doesn't explain why getting conked on the head with a block of wood knocked her out. I mean, that's not an attack. That's down to resiliency. I would think that a super strong person would be more resilient than the average person. Don't really have an answer for that. Direwolf87, did you see Boba Fett and Deadpool in the epic rap battles for history? No, I haven't seen that one. Is that one new? I've seen a bunch of them. I haven't seen that one. No, I'm gonna look for that now. Magpie's Nest Productions. I like the slower pace. Okay. Like I said, it's probably down to personal preference on that one. For me, it was just it felt like there were times when it just felt like the show wasn't going anywhere. It felt like we can speed this up, you guys. You don't have to spend this long just walking around, talking and looking at things. You know, I know it's not an action show, but you can speed the pace up a little bit. It's okay. The Save Me one. Claire will probably die in a pretty bad way, and that's what'll bring the Defenders together. That being the case, it would have been nice to see her in a few more episodes. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Please don't kill Claire. I would expect we'll see more of her in Luke Cage. There are set pictures of her on the set with Luke Cage, so she's going to pop up there too. I would suspect she'll be in Iron Fist as well. And, Daredevil Season 2, because that's coming before Defenders is. They haven't even... They just recently, like in the last week, hired a showrunner for Iron Fist. So, it'll be at least a year before we see anything for Iron Fist. And then it's only until after that we get the Defenders. So it'll be a while still. Hell, there might even be on Daredevil Season 3 before we see Defenders. Who knows? So we'll have more with Claire, but I would suspect you're right. If something's going to bring them together, that would probably be it. Ray Mastani, when are you reviewing Impact? Probably Saturday or Sunday. Whenever I have some free time. Won't be tomorrow, I can tell you that. Tomorrow is Star Wars Day. And to avoid spoilers, I will most likely be going off the grid until after my show, which is at 8:30 at night. So you won't be hearing from me until late tomorrow. Uh, and after that, after I see the movie, then I can do the impact review. Magpie, I liked the build up to the final battle. I liked how it took its time. Oh, I agree with that. I mean, I have no problem with taking the time to build up to a big climactic showdown. My issue is that I felt like it took more time than it needed. Yeah, like I said, you could probably have cut like an episode or two out of there and compressed the story into a fewer number of episodes. I think it would have worked just as well, if not better. And certainly some of the episodes could have been shortened a little bit. Save me one. With 9 superhero shows between DC and Marvel, I'm glad they did something different and unlike other comic book shows, went for storytelling and character development instead of action and powers. Yeah, I'm glad they're doing something different. Like I said, Netflix gives them the platform to be different and to try experimental things. I felt like they did that with Daredevil. I felt like Jessica Jones in certain areas is taking that a step further. All the DC shows seem like they're staying within a certain niche, whatever. Marvel is trying to trying to go outside of their comfort zone a little bit. And I like that. I like that they're trying different things. I don't know if that'll always be successful for them. DC has a formula that works for them, and they're exploiting that to a lot of success. Marvel seems like it's taking more chances right now. And it's also working out for them, too, so everybody wins. Magpie's Nest Productions. The pill-taking guy could have been cut altogether. I guess Simpson. He served a purpose in the story, I think. I think there's more to that. I think there's more coming with that. They're obviously going to explore that later on. I wonder if that may tie into how Jessica got her powers, because they really didn't explain that. I guess that'll be coming later. Or it could be a plot point for the Defenders. But yeah, that whole subplot felt weird when it was happening. It was like, why? What is this? Why are we doing this? How does this relate to Kilgrave? We're kind of going off on a totally different thing here. That was weird. Save me one. I think what they were going for with Simpson is a cross between Captain America and Grant Ward, and the actors suck too bad to pull it off. Huh. I don't know. I thought the actor was okay. Not exactly sure what they were going for with him exactly, but I thought for what he had to do, he was alright. Save me one. Plus, there are times with Trish, he came off more like a freaky stalker than Kilgrave did with Jessica. Possibly, yeah. I can agree with that up to a point. Like, he went to her place to give her the gun, and he wouldn't leave. It's like, dude, okay, you dropped it off. You don't need to be here anymore. You're scaring her. And I mean, Trish kind of encouraged that too, when she didn't, insist that he leave, and then inviting him into her home, and then having sex with him. I mean, she kind of stoked that fire a little bit herself. But yeah, he was slightly stalkerish. Um, which makes sense if he was intended to later become a bad guy. Let's see. Simpson is Nuke. Alright, not familiar with that character. The comics. Save me one. I think the IGH thing is going to set up the defenders. Could be. Jessica got her powers because of IGH. I believe Murdoch did as well. And they're making super soldiers. They have to be building to something. Murdoch could as well. That's a good point. That could have been. Yeah, because we don't know where those chemicals came from that blinded Matt. That would be a cool way to tie those together. That could be. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That's a cool. That would be a cool twist. I like that. And you could do the maybe you could have them be behind Luke Cage's powers as well. Of course, that wouldn't work for Iron Fist because his powers are magical. But maybe have maybe like Madame Gao distributing IGH on the street or something, be like through like black market stuff. Because we theorized that Madame Gao was connected to Kunlun, so that could be the way they incorporate Iron Fist into that. That's a cool point. That's a good point actually. I like that. Let's see. The Save Me One. What are the chances that the H in IGH stands for Hydra? Probably slim. I think Hydra would be a little more covert than that. Magpie. Seen Star Wars already. Saw it at midnight 2 days ago. 2 days ago? Thought the midnight shows didn't start until tonight. No spoilers, please. I don't want to hear. I don't want to see one spoiler. Just saying. Just don't you fucking spoil me. The Save Me One. I'm a big fan of the old school private eye genre, so the voiceovers and music playing in the background had no winning me over. Okay. And yeah, I thought the voiceover was fine. I think they can be overused at times. It didn't really work for Arrow, but I thought it worked fine for this show. Save Me One. Avengers reference in episode 4 causes Jessica to have her best girl freak out ever. Trying to think. Was that the scene where she's talking with Luke Cage? Yeah, I think so. The Save Me One. Out of the 9 superhero shows that Marvel and DC have right now, I would put Jessica Jones second behind Daredevil. I would give Jessica Jones a 96% out of 100%. Okay, high praise for Jessica Jones. I don't know if I'd rate it that high. Well, we haven't seen Legends of Tomorrow yet. We don't know how that's going to be. Looks good though. I don't know how I'd rate them. I don't even know. I don't even know if we could really include Shield in that one because Shield isn't really a superhero show. It's a spy show in a world where superheroes exist. So I don't think that's a fair comparison, really. Um, don't know how I'd rate Jessica. I think I'd certainly put Daredevil at the top of the list for the superhero shows. I don't know what Jessica Jones would be. I'm sure Jessica would be high on the list. I don't know if it would be number 2. Let's see. Direwolf 87. When is Captain Marvel going to be released? Oh, good question. I think it got pushed back so they could put so they could schedule Spider-Man in there. When is it now? I think it was either 2000. Was it 2017 or 2019? Hell, it's probably 2019 at this point. Damn, that's depressing. I don't know why they've been dragging their feet on Captain Marvel so much. Let's see. Magpie's Nest Productions. So Iron Fist won't just be a movie. No, it'll be a Netflix series. They just hired a showrunner, Scott Buck, who was showrunner for the last 4 seasons of Dexter. Not sure what else he's worked on, but apparently he had a pitch that really knocked their socks off. So that's good. I was kind of bummed out that they're not further along in the process. 'Cause I figured, well, Luke Cage is in production now. I mean, they got to start announcing Iron Fist stuff soon. And they got to be, fairly well along in the pre-production at least. And it turns out, no, they're not. They just hired a showrunner in the last couple of days. It's like, oh, really? It's gonna be a long time before we see anything for Iron Fist. But yeah, they got a showrunner now. So I guess the next step would be to start writing and then staff up and then start casting. That'll be months away. But that will eventually be a Netflix show. Let's see. NJ. I think Kristen Ritter is great and played her part so well, which helped me to want to see more. Following Broadchurch, I wanted to see David Tennant find something that was going to work for him. Okay, yeah. Right. The Save Me One. Do you see the laser eyes and bulletproof thing was a shot at Supergirl? Uh, do I think... did you see the Easter egg where a guy is selling Spider-Man ice cream bars? I don't think it was a shot at Supergirl. I mean, this thing was... I mean, Jessica Jones was probably filmed like months and months and months ago. And I don't even know if the Supergirl trailer was up at that point. Maybe it was, who knows. No, I don't think it was a shot at them. I don't see why it would be. Spider-Man ice cream bars? No, I missed that. Damn. Dire Wolf, would you rather read the spoilers or willingly go into the Sarlacc pit? The Sarlacc pit? Ugh. Well, if I go into the Sarlacc pit, I'm dead. Guess I'd read the spoilers at that point. Wouldn't be happy about it. Let's see. Magpie. Nuke is from Daredevil and Wolverine comics. Alright, cool. Let's see. Australia got it early because we are special, but to be honest, it was midnight yesterday morning, but it was Wednesday when I went to the cinema. Yeah, what's with this, with movies getting released internationally before we get it in the States? It's odd. Okay, cool. Hope it was good. Cross my fingers, because, and the movie being bad would really hurt me. I've made peace. I've kind of made peace with the prequels. I accept that they suck. I'm never going to be happy about that, but I take solace in the fact that their effect on the original trilogy was not that great. I mean, they kind of ruined Darth Vader and the Emperor, but at least Luke and Leia and Han and those people were kind of unaffected by it all. You can't really... I don't have that anymore. Yeah, because these are sequels, and, Luke and the gang are all going to be in there, so it's... If this doesn't go well, it's going to forever taint the original trilogy in my mind, and that would hurt. That would really hurt. Because I hope and pray that this movie is good, because the original trilogy is something very close to me. I said this on Twitter earlier today. But my earliest memory is watching The Empire Strikes Back. I think that was in theaters before I was born, but I must have been watching it on TV or in like a different screening or something. But that is my earliest memory, is watching that movie. So that's Star Wars. The original trilogy is very close to me. So you don't fuck with Star Wars. It's just something you do not do. Let's see. I think it saved me one saying that it won him over. Okay. Save me one. Freak out was when the lady wanted to shoot her because she has powers. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that was fun. Jessica just completely goes batshit and destroys the room. That was nice. Captain Marvel will be released on March 8th, 2019. So we're still a couple years away. What are they waiting for on that one? Save me one. I think Netflix does a good job making sure they keep the comic book fans happy but appeal to the whole public. Yeah. Yeah. It seems like there are fewer restrictions on that than there are on the network shows. Like if they want to use like characters from the comics, they can do those. Whereas Shield has more restrictions placed on it. Like if a character is going to be in the movies first, we can't use them. We got to wait for them to show up in the movie first. Now the Netflix shows they can bring them in. They can use the Melvin Potter, or they can use Frank Castle. They can do that stuff, and most comic fans I've talked to have been really, really tickled that they've turned out as well as they have. Let's see. Lucky STR8. The lady at the ticket booth messed up the dates for the premiere, and now I'm stuck at home until tomorrow. Can you please give me a quick synopsis of Jessica Jones? Oh, dude, that happened to me too. I wanted tickets for opening night, and he gave me tickets for Friday instead of tonight, and that's why I'm home doing a live stream right now. God. Quick synopsis for Jessica Jones. Private investigator with superpowers who tried to be a hero, tried to use her powers to be a hero, but had that blow up in her face, and now she's a private investigator recovering from massive PTSD, who one day finds herself confronted with the man responsible for all her various traumas, or at least some of them. And she has to find a way to stop him before he wreaks unimaginable havoc on her life and the lives of those that she holds dear. Yeah. Okay. I think that's good. Let's see. Magpie. It's good, man. It's like the third best film in the franchise. Mark Hamill really earned his paycheck. Yeah. See, you just told me that Mark Hamill was in the movie, which I already knew. But that's good. So third best, I guess behind Empire and New Hope. I read a spoiler-free review. I saw a spoiler-free review today that said the same thing. By Chris Stuckman, who does really good movie reviews. You can watch him on here. So he gave it an A, which is good. It's comforting. I take nothing for granted after the prequels, but I'm getting excited about this one. Let's see. Darewolf, have you seen Kristen Ritter on Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23? I've never actually seen the show. I've seen a lot of clips of it. It looked funny, but I never got around to actually watching the show. Yeah, she was the best thing in that show. Well, yeah, I mean, she was the title character. She was the bee in Apartment 23. She was very charming in the clips that I've seen. Never actually seen a whole episode, though. Let's see. NJ, we've covered so much about Jessica Jones, which is a lot of fun, but what about Gotham? What about Gotham? That's something worth talking about. I know that you know it. No, Christ. What do you want me to say about Gotham? I'm not watching Gotham. I watched the first season. I hated it. It was terrible. Out of morbid curiosity, I watched the first 2 episodes of season 2. It just didn't do anything to make me want to keep watching. I divorced myself from Gotham and I want to keep it that way. The Save Me one. Hope's death was surprising. I did not see that coming. Since they played it out as Jessica saving her was what would prove if she was a hero or not. Yeah. Yeah, that was a really shocking moment. Even more so was that Hope ends up killing herself, which in a way is almost worse than Kilgrave making her do it. Um, I mean, you have a choice between, okay, she can maybe save Hope, or she can save these people that he commanded to hang themselves. It's like, oh God, how do you win? It's a no-win situation, and then she almost doesn't win because she saves those people, but Hope still dies. And trying to save Hope was the thing that started this whole mess in the beginning. And now, well, she doesn't have Hope. Well, all she can do is take down Kilgrave and try to make sure that nothing bad he can never hurt anyone else. And she does that, but then she's got to let the shady as hell lawyer get her off by very morally gray means. And it's like, well, Jessica won, but in a way she also kind of lost. So is she a hero or isn't she? I mean, the answer is left very unclear. So the ending is like very melancholy. I thought that was very fitting. That she gets kind of a bittersweet ending, and yeah, it sets up a lot of cool stuff for where they can take the story next. So, like, the question of is Jessica a hero or not, that's something they're probably going to continue to play with for the rest of the series. Magpie, will you do a stream for The Force Awakens? We'll see. We'll see. I think I may. We'll see after I see the movie tomorrow night. I guess I'll decide then. But I have a feeling I'm going to want to talk about this thing with somebody. Let's see. Direwolf, Force Awakens has a 97% positive rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 97%, that's good. That's good. MJ is apologizing. Okay, I shall stop. I get more fun out of asking you about it than I should. MJ really wants me to watch Gotham. Okay, it looks like we can think about wrapping this up. I'll give it another minute or two, see if we got any more questions. I can click out of this. I'm so excited for Star Wars tomorrow. I've been rewatching all the Plinkett reviews and to get ready. I'm gonna watch the Revenge of the Sith one tonight when I'm done with this. Also, I've been getting ready to listen to the old Star Wars radio dramas. I don't know if you've ever heard of those, but they have they have like actors like perform the movie, not like the actual script from the movie, but they do it like a kind of like it's a play, like a stage play on the radio. Like there's like a whole audio drama with like music and sound effects and everything. They did these like years and years ago, but I have copies of them here, and I just found them on YouTube. I'm gonna listen to those too because those are great. If you've never actually listened to those, you should check them out. Those are fantastic. Okay. The Save Me one. Worst character, Simpson or the freaky twin sister? Probably the sister. At least Simpson actually did something. I think the sister, Robin, existed just to be annoying. And, well, credit to her. Yeah, that's. I think she succeeded. She was very annoying. Um, yeah. May the force be with us. With you, direwolf. Okay. Uh, yeah, I think that will do it. I don't know when I'll get around to doing the impact review. Probably on Saturday. Um, like I said, I will be incommunicado tomorrow. I'm going off the grid to avoid spoilers, but afterward I'll try to let you guys know when the impact thing will be happening. My guess is maybe Saturday afternoon. And after that, I guess we could talk about doing a Force Awakens stream if you want to do that, if I feel like doing it. So that'll be fun. And after that, I think it'll be a couple weeks off. At least until comic show post show will be off until I guess January when Agent Carter starts up and Legends of Tomorrow, and I guess Arrow and Flash come back in January. I don't know when they come back. But yeah. Oh, plus I think Impact is in like best of clip shows for the next 2 weeks. Uh, so yeah, I got like 2 weeks off or something. I might be able to do some streaming in the meantime though. But yeah, thanks for tuning in tonight. And I will talk to you this weekend, probably, for the Impact review, whenever I get around to doing that. Until such... I'll do it after Christmas for episode 7. We'll see. We'll see. But thanks for tuning in. I will see you probably this weekend sometimes. Until then, may the Force be with you.